Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle, and thank you for joining me here. So, before I begin, I just want to let you know that at the time of this recording, and for the past few days, BitChute has been very slow to upload and process videos, so I apologize for the lack of content on this channel or the slow stream of content. Regardless, we have two articles that discuss the dying culture of America. So, from LifeSiteNews.com, you might have heard about this, you might not have, but drag show at Iowa Public Library features kids giving drag queen dollar bills, from June 13th, 2019. So, Ames, Iowa, from June 13th, 2019, a public library in Ames, Iowa hosted family-friendly entertainment offered by drag performers who accepted cash tips from children in attendance. In the city that is home to Iowa State University, the public library offered music and dance drag performances by amateurs and professionals. Adults and children were in the audience on April 6th to watch gyrations, lip-syncing, and exotic costumes during an evening that included all ages performances that were followed by a teens-only show featuring sparkles, costumes, free snacks, and mingling. God. According to local reports, more than 240 people attended the fourth such event organized by the library. Holy crap. Children in the audience were seen handing money to the performers in much the same way that strippers and other performers are rewarded. Librarian Tanvi Rastogi posted on Instagram her photos of the event. On Instagram, one person commented, "These photos are amazing. They capture just how awesome the show was." In September, during the Ames Gay Pride Festival, similar drag performers accepted cash on stage from kids in the audience. According to the Facebook page for the event, drag is for everyone. It said, grab your best friend, your preschooler or your grandmother, your dad or your neighbor, and your neighbor's kids, roommates, bandmates, or that cool kid that sits next to you in math class, and check out all the free age-friendly performances by professional and amateur drag performers. Good lord. Ugh. Featured performers included, according to the Iowa State Daily, I'm not going to read all those names, you can read them right now if you want. Those just ridiculous names. Anyways, Iowa State Daily provided a synopsis of the drag performances. The paper reported that Mara Spooner, aka the governess of the Ames Pride and Renegade Arts Collective, of course it would include arts, was a hostess for the event. It said that Jamie Sexton danced and lip-synced during the all-ages drag show, showing up in 3 different outfits. At least 2 performers were minors. Smokey Moon, for example, was identified as a middle school student who had graduated from the library's training for cross-dressing. Good God. The library gained nationwide notoriety last year for hosting a summer camp to teach kids K through 12 the art of cross-dressing and drag performances. The camp was supported by the local LGBTQP LMNOZ activists, who said it was intended to make transgender children feel safe and to prevent suicide. The Ames Pride and Renegade Arts Collective provided content for the camp. Both Spooner and Rastogi were dismissive of parents' concerns, suggesting that those who objected to the camp were free not to attend. Oh man, oh God, wow, why? Why does this happen? Why? This is absolutely disgusting. And why is it still allowed? Look how young these kids are in this. There's got to be elementary school kids. This has to be shut down. Allowing children to be in a place like this and to actively participate both in the audience and as a performer, this type of behavior is sickening. This is literal child abuse. Child abuse, according to childhelp.org, is when a parent or caregiver, whether through action or failing to act, causes injury, death, emotional harm, or risk of serious harm to a child. There are many forms of child maltreatment, including neglect, physical abuse, sexual abuse, exploitation, and emotional abuse. Good God. You know, because of events like these, don't you think that these types of events would have an effect on those kids, especially elementary school and middle school students? Children will grow up being more confused as they age through puberty. These kids, most of these people, maybe except for a few around here, haven't even begun puberty yet. Puberty, though, can be a very troubling time for children as they go through it, And like I said, participating in events like these will only make things worse. Kids will grow up mentally and emotionally scarred because of events like this and the people who engage in events like this. You want to keep people away who are active participants away from kids like this. Do you not think that some of these kids will be inappropriately touched or handled by perverts? Do you really want more of this? Promoting degeneracy to all ages, including your grandma apparently, your dad, your neighbor's kids, all of the kids at your local elementary school? And are you okay with that? Do you want another Weimar Republic? This is what they did in Berlin during the Weimar Republic. This is just, of course, an example of how far we have fallen in culture. Jesus. The lack of accountability for actions is astounding. Any parent, or adult, of course, who takes children there or welcomes anyone to these events needs to be taken down a notch. This is just unacceptable. And of course, before we move on, the last line in this is just too telling and revealing. Both Spooner and Rastogi were dismissive of parents' concerns, suggesting that those who objected to the camp were free not to attend. See, now, that's where I know that this is extreme libertarianism, is wrong. It has to be fundamentally wrong for extreme libertarianism. People who say that, as long as it doesn't hurt you or me, do whatever you want, is a terrible phrase. Those people who say that are probably what I would consider ignorant and just don't think long term. Most people don't think long term. They think in the short term, never on the long term basis. No matter what happens, people around you or me can influence and harm you without you even being cognizant of it. What they do can affect you. People around you, of course, can harm or perhaps even enhance your reputation, your city, or even your livelihood. But no matter what you believe in, your actions can have an influence or an effect on me, and that alone is enough for me to care about what you do, whether I like it or not, whether I want to care about you or not. Promoting things like this will affect the future children of America, which I do care about. Now, that's just the first article. We have some more disgusting news to talk about. So, from lifenews.com, California school has condom race, where 10-year-old girls learn how to put on condoms. Isn't that a great, exciting title? Outrage is growing in California against newly approved sex education materials in public schools. It's shocking, Rebecca Friedrichs, the founder of 4 Kids and Country, told the Christian Post. She said one school had 10 and 11-year-old girls participate in a condom race in which they ran in front of male classmates to be the first to put on a condom on a model of an erect adult male penis. I always tell people that the scary thing is, I'll give radio interviews and I can't even say on the radio things that are being taught in our elementary and middle school classrooms in mixed company. There's something very wrong there, she said. Friedrichs has helped to organize several local and statewide parent protests against the new materials. National Catholic Register reports the concern center around changes approved by the California Board of Education in May. The programs are supposed to comply with the 2015 California Healthy Youth Act, which mandates the teaching of medically accurate and age-appropriate comprehensive sex education at least once in middle school and once in high school, according to the report. Here's more from the report. The new framework encourages but does not mandate classroom conversations in 6th grade about masturbation and kindergarten discussions on gender identity. The goal is not to cause confusion about the gender of the child, but to develop an awareness that other expressions exist, said the newly approved document. Well, gender means everything, in which it means nothing. Anyways, several units cover human sexual and reproductive body parts. A lesson on sexually transmitted diseases notes the selling points of sexual abstinence, but also encourages condom use and regular confidential testing for sexually active middle school students, and in doing so endorsing Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion business in America. Parents, of course, may opt out of their children participating in most of the instruction. The California Catholic Conference has more information about parents' rights here, and it is working on legislation to better expand parents' rights in the matter. Friedrichs and hundreds of other parents said the materials are not age-appropriate and they push an agenda on the children. Here's more from the Post. Friedrichs first learned about the condom relay races being used as part of sex ed in California schools when a concerned mother contacted her about it. In that case, a school board in Northern California had already allowed the curriculum before it became law. And when this mom found out about it, she started pushing back. In kindergarten through 3rd grade, children will learn about gender identity, which means nothing. They'll be taught about masturbation in 4th to 6th grade. In 7th and 8th grade, they'll learn about consent and sexual abuse. And in 9th through 12th grade, they'll learn more about contraception and healthy sexual relationships, including advice for LGBTQ students, the Washington Post added. John Stickney, communications manager with Equality California, oh, that sounds great, doesn't it, said he does not believe the curriculum is out of the ordinary. We don't believe any of this will prime students to do anything they wouldn't normally do, Stickney said. It's important to dispel myths and stigma around sex health for the special community. That starts with awareness and sex education. But many parents believe it goes too far by encouraging young students to have sex rather than emphasizing the potential risks. Friedrich says the new guidelines encourage teachers to talk to students as young as 11 about experimenting with oral and anal sex. She said teachers are supposed to tell students where they can get birth control and abortions without their parents' knowledge or permission, such as a Planned Parenthood facility. If a teacher refuses to teach the curriculum, someone from Planned Parenthood may come in to teach the students instead, she said. No one believes it until they see it, she told the Christian Post. Now that we've been able to help parents understand what's actually in the curriculums and they're viewing it for themselves, they see the urgent need to rescue the kids. Now there's a groundswell of parents that's growing fast and fighting back. And that's pretty much all the story. Wow. 10-year-old girls putting on condoms. Jesus, what the hell? Look, as someone, as someone who has been in the field of education, that's just not right, alright? That's not cool. But let's break it down from the top. So teachers, schools, they have to comply with the 2015 California Healthy Youth Act, in which schools need to teach kids about sex education at least once in middle school and at least once in high school. This is okay? That makes sense, right? But you don't do this in 6th or 7th grade, most likely. For most middle schoolers, not for most, you do this in 8th grade when kids are generally more mature, including physically, emotionally, and mentally. And I would probably wait until the second half of 8th grade really to give them an educational course about sexual relationships, I suppose. It does say in this article that parents, if aware, may opt their children out of participating in this type of instruction. But for the ages between 10 to 13 or 14, 10 to 13 or 10 to 14, this generally just isn't appropriate. But this isn't even the worst part. Between kindergarten through 3rd grade, children will learn about gender identity. Kids will be taught about masturbation? What? Between 4th and 6th grades, what is this? They will be taught consensual or consent and sexual abuse in 7th and 8th grade, and in high school, kids will learn about contraception and healthy sexual relationships. First of all, kids between kindergarten and 6th to 7th grade shouldn't even know what this stuff means. Why the hell would a 4th grader want to know about masturbation? I mean, for your average 4th grader, he or she just probably wants to go outside and play games on the playground. Like, come on, man. Come on. The kids haven't even reached frickin' puberty yet. And for healthy sexual relationships, that just kind of sounds like you want to raise a generation of whores and also have a significant imbalance of guys who get and not get sex because you are leaving out something extremely fundamental that almost all ideologies ignore. And that's human nature. They completely leave out human nature. Things that we are intrinsically wired to behave towards something. Most ideologies just don't recognize the importance of the differences between men and women and how each or both sides should be taught, grouped, and contained. Now, this article also says that teachers are supposed to tell students where they can get birth control and abortions without their parents' knowledge or permission. That's something I disagree with, which we could go into another article upon, because no matter what happens, a parent is ultimately responsible for the child at least until the age of 18, as well as when they are done with high school. Anyways, it just sounds like California wants more hoes. Most guys, if they want to get married, they don't want a wife who used to be the town bicycle. Guys, if they want to get married, they want a debt-free virgin without tattoos. And doing this can be good in terms of education, but also carries the weight of having more hoes. I mean, let's be real with it. You know, this kind of takes me back, and it seems like back in the day, there were good reasons for people to get married young, you know? You could screw around with your wife or husband, and that'd be okay. You could raise a family in your early 20s instead of working and getting an education in all throughout your entire 20s, instead of raising a family and raising a family in your 30s and 40s. And another reason why people got married young is that you could have a partner on which you could rely for the rest of your life. That sounds like a great deal if you get married young. But that was the olden times. That was back in the day. But, you know, of course, since the early 20th century, men have allowed degeneracy and the destruction of the nuclear family to run rampant throughout Western civilization, especially since the end of World War II. Whether we like it or not, though, we have a choice about our future. We can either maintain the slow death of our society, just like our 20th century forefathers, or we can collectively unite and return our civilization to its greatest days. You know, it's really a choice that we all have to make. Either way, thank you very much for watching me discuss these two disgusting articles. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I hope you have a great day.